Okay, Assalamu alaikum, audience. Thank you so much for joining us for the last session in series 1 of our webinars hosted by IGI Holdings. And this is probably one of the most important sessions that we're going to be running today because it's all to do with people, it's all to do with us, it's all to do with our organization, our culture, and the way we conduct ourselves in the companies and environments that we work in. So, today's session primarily we'll just go ahead with firstly some of the housekeeping rules for the audience, and just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that obviously as a moderator I'll be engaging with all the panelists in all the areas of focus that we would be discussing today. The audience absolutely that we're talking about is you. You can submit your questions online via the Zoom messaging tool. Your Q&As will be held at the end of the webinar, where as a moderator, I'll be selecting a few questions based on the time that we have. Even if for some odd reason you are not able to pick up on the live recording, live session, our recording of the session would be available within 24 hours on all the social media handles. And in case, God forbid, you face any technical difficulties during the webinar, please reach out to the Zoom Help Center because that's the tool that we are using today. And it's also possible that some of the panelists may come across any technical difficulty as well. So just bear with us, as we go along with the session. So moving on from this, we've got a powerful list of panelists that we have today for our session, before I get to the basic intro of the panelists, I just want to let you know that today's session is discussing how the pandemic has actually shaken up the business world to its core. It has actually shaken up all of us, but primarily when it is to do with the business world, how it has actually impacted the business world. As human beings, the stress and the uncertainty that lingers around us, both on the professional and personal fronts, how have we as an organization addressed all those challenges? The new normal that we are coming to hear on a daily basis, how that is allowing us to deep dive into the change in which we manage people, our culture, our communication patterns, and the way we do our work on a daily basis, and specifically to do with organizational planning and to ensure that the work keeps on going while ensuring and assuring all the employees that their relevance is extremely important for the organization. So it's a thin line for all of us as an organization, as employees, this session tries to address that thin line. So, I would request the panelists to give a quick, brief intro of themselves, one after the other, and I'll request Mr. Tahir Masood to start off.
Ji, Tahir Masood here. I'm CEO of IGI General and IGI Holdings, and I also look after the operations of IGI Life Vitality.
Okay, Mr. Adnan.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Waqas Munir and I'm heading the HR function for the Packages Group. As you would all know, that Packages Group consists of around 15 odd companies in different sectors like retail. We have retail mall, we have manufacturing operations, we have financial services, and then we also have international operations in Sri Lanka, in Canada, and in South Africa. So that's a brief introduction of me.
Assalamualaikum. This is Muhammad Adnan. I have been associated with IGI Holding for the past 14 years and currently heading the HR function of all the companies of IGI, which comprise of IGI General, IGI Life, IGI Securities, or IGI Investment. We have around more than 500 employees and we have offices around 20 plus offices.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Hisham. I am working as regional head at IGI Insurance, and I also look after affinity, micro insurance, and agri businesses at IGI.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Athar Chaudhary. I am heading IT functions for IGI Holding and all IGI Group companies. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for your intro. And without further ado, we'll just request Mr. Tahir to sort of give us a rundown on how we as an organization have been managing ourselves during this pandemic, and as an organization have we been ready to, as an entity, as people, have we been ready to run our business, our day-to-day business during this time? Over to you, Mr. Tahir.
Thank you, Raman. In one short word, if I can, answer that question: was the organization ready? Was IGI as a group, as in IGI Life, General, and Holdings, were we ready? I would say no, and we improvised heavily. But the devil obviously is in the details. So I'll take you through some of the details, which hopefully will, put some context into the question. And will also help, to understand what lessons we have learned and how ready we are now. So, as with the rest of the world, I believe nobody really predicted a pandemic. And while there have been talks about pandemics and, outbreaks, there wasn't really much work done on that. So, same applies to IGI. We weren't ready for a pandemic. However, we were ready for business disruption. Business disruption, as you know, is a wider area than just pandemic management. It manages all sorts of disruptions, be it man-made or be it natural catastrophes. So as a business, we were prepared for business continuity in the wake of, let's say, a fire in one of the offices, an earthquake destroying one or more offices, or riots happening on the streets and our offices being closed. So we were kind of sort of working, preparing ourselves for such scenarios, but we never prepared for a pandemic as such. Having said that, the continuity planning that we had done against the catastrophes that I've just mentioned really helped us. And, the rest of it was really improvisation and leveraging the existing assets and infrastructure that we had developed over the course of the last 4 or 5 years when we started doing the business continuity planning. So, in a 250 plus employee base and about 2,000, in fact, more than 3,000 agents all across Pakistan, telling them that, guys, you'll be working from home from tomorrow was a big ask. I mean, we didn't obviously plan for it. It was, and I think the word unprecedented has now become, more common than many other words. So it was unprecedented. And, the employees were also aghast at the suggestion that they won't be coming to the office tomorrow and they'll be working from home. Again, some of the employees, some of the senior team was used to working from home as you would. We were also used to working remotely because a lot of us senior people travel. And when we do travel, then obviously, we work remotely. So we were used to it. Our laptops, our, phones and everything was already rigged, if I may, for that. But we had to prepare the rest of the employees, their computers, their their phones. We had to prepare our servers. So there was a whole plethora of preparation that had to happen. And here I must congratulate our IT that they really came to the fore, and they kitted us out in a matter of hours, not days. So they worked overnight, and they made sure that 50% of the staff was available next day from home on their laptops. We did ask our teams to take their laptops home the day the lockdown was announced. We asked everybody to take their phones and laptops home and do not come back until they are advised to do so. Again, at the end of the day, it's all about communication. So we had a basic infrastructure. Some of the senior people were used to working remotely, but that was about it. So the rest of it was managed through communication. If there is one word that I cannot stress enough, that is communication. It's all about communication, communication, and communication. And at every level. At the senior level, we had a huddle at the senior level to understand what needs to be done. We came out with an action plan that we then executed. At every step of that action plan, there was communication involved to the people lower down in the hierarchical ladder, and then all the way down to the grassroots. So, the communication not only stemmed from the CEO or the head of operations, but also from each functional head, from each divisional head. And communication took a lot of different forms. It wasn't just a meeting. It wasn't just a Zoom call. It was more like WhatsApp messaging. It was phone calls. It was obviously Zoom meetings. It was obviously, WebEx meetings. There were other means of communication that we used, for example, emails. So, there were different platforms available, and we used each one of those platforms to communicate with our staff, to tell them what is expected of them, because it's important to have the expectation developed right from the start. Just like we are used to KPIs, key performance indicators, I believe that one of the key things for working from home is managing people's expectations and making them understand what is required of them while they work from home. Work from home itself, it's just a word, but what sort of entails, what it describes, there's a huge process behind it. Some people, underwriting people, they were used to issuing policies, having printers right next to them and issuing policies, stamping those policies, sending it out to the dispatch department. Working from home, an underwriter had to do all these 4 things by themselves. Similarly, the claims people, they were used to taking a phone call. Some of them were on the notification desk. Some of them were, just processing claims, paper that is. And, while working from home, all these people, the notification people had to take calls while sitting at home. They had to use emails as well as phone calls to notify the claim processors as to what is going on. The claim processors had to sift through jumbles of PDF files and not paper. So there was a huge difference in the way we worked, and the process itself changed. And again, the communication of this whole bit is the most important thing that we could do. And in the end, I would say that not only that you need to keep the employees updated, but we also have to make sure that we applaud their efforts. We recognize the challenges that they face every day. Some of the people, some of the people come from a community or from a social class where they do not have an independent room to work from. So they have to work while their children are playing around them. They have to work, from much closed spaces they're not used to, and they have to work from places where they were disturbed constantly. So it's not everybody, did not have a home office. So we had to then, train these people on how to manage while they were working from home. We had to recognize their efforts, and we should. And, not only recognition, but applauding the efforts is also very, very important along the way. And again, fine tuning as we go along. Like I said in the beginning, improvisation. Other than communication, if I can stress one thing, that's improvisation. Every company is different, every situation is different. Working from home means different things for different people. So, one has to improvise. But having said all that and having done that, I believe now we are much more prepared for actual pandemic situation as well. Our IT is fully geared up, our HR is fully geared up, our senior people now understand what it entails. And the silver lining on this cloud, I believe, is the fact that we are now much more prepared for natural catastrophes as well. So if a fire erupts in an office, or an earthquake, or there are riots on the street, we are now much more prepared than we were, let's say, 6 months ago. So it's all down to the employees and the fact that HR, IT, and the senior team really worked hard and communicated well with our employees. That's sort of the end result, from a least prepared to a very well prepared. The spectrum, it took us a while to get there, but finally we got there. So well done, everybody.
That's wonderful to hear, and I can I can echo the word communication from what you just said. I just wanted to find out from you, from an organization's perspective. Obviously, as you rightly mentioned, meeting the expectations of various stakeholders. When it came to the customers, how well was the team equipped to communicate directly with the customers? Because that's where the buck starts, and that's where the buck stops.
Yeah. Again, Noman, the fact that we had already invested in some business continuity helped us. We were able to quickly switch first notification of loss of claims to people's mobiles. So, we had the technology for that. We quickly were able to route some of the calls that we received on our exchange, on our telephone exchange, through IP telephony, right to people's homes and to people's mobiles. So for our customers, the journey was pretty much, seamless. I hardly think that any customer complained that, when they tried to ring IGI, they weren't able to get through. We didn't, have any of that disruption. In terms of our policies, again, issuing policies, paying for claims, getting acknowledgements from customers on claims, it was quite easy because we shifted all, to everything to digital. Even, policy issuance was done digitally, and we sent it to the banks, to the customers, and we told them that look, guys, while the policy is valid, we created a separate link and a QR code where any customer or any banker could just scan that code, and they'll be directed to this website where they could see the genuineness, authenticity of the policy. Similarly, for claims payments, we asked people for their account numbers and we directly paid into their accounts. Emails took over from the letters that we used to write, and a lot of stuff then moved on to, instead of physical files, onto PDF files and onto Word files. So, that's how it happened. And I believe the customers had a seamless journey.
Great, thank you so much. And that's one of the most reassuring things when it comes to the customer's point of view, to actually hear, from the company, from the organization on a regular basis. We'll move on from here, and I would like to sort of request Mr. Waqas to take us through another aspect of managing people from an industry that was very much considered and classified as essential services, and during the toughest of the times, how did packages limited, how did they manage to address the employee fear, the uncertainty, because considering the fact that it was an essential services. So I'll request you to sort of walk us through your journey from another perspective and enlighten us on that. Over to you, Mr. Wakas.
Thank you so much, Kaman, for bringing up this very important question onto the table for discussion. Like Taisa rightly said, that these are unprecedented times, and no one of us could have imagined how this pandemic is going to reshape our lives, the way we work. So, with so many goals set earlier in the year, our primary goal throughout this pandemic was to ensure health, well-being, and livelihood of our employees and their families. And not just that, but also to ensure that we are well positioned to bounce back strongly whenever the recovery sets in. I was looking at the numbers on the government website, and thankfully, more than 80% of the coronavirus cases are already recovered. And further, the daily count of new cases has also drastically reduced. When the coronavirus spread actually started in Pakistan in the month of March, the biggest impediment to employee productivity was the fear of unknown. No one could imagine what coronavirus would mean to them, to their families, and they were really concerned about their job security. So the biggest challenge for us was to successfully overcome this fear. And we overcome it through our effective communication strategy. Almost on a daily basis, updates, informations, and employee safety bulletins would roll out to the employees. And moreover, CEO level communication was very frequent in these days. One good step that we took was that we formed a COVID crisis committee with representation from all our group companies' senior leadership. The main task of establishing this committee was to ensure that our core business operations keep on running, and we are able to provide essential food packaging and hygiene products to our customers. And not only that, but most importantly, to ensure that our employees stay healthy and they are protected while they are at work. So they were tasked to make policies and SOPs to ensure that we could control the virus outbreak. So with the SOPs in place, the next task was to train our employees, because with an employee base of over 6,000 employees in our Lahore and Kasur operations, more than 50% are the blue collar workers who do not have access to emails or other employee portals. So our main task was to basically train them, to make them aware through toolbox talks on the floor, and to prepare them to basically combat this virus. So after setting these trainings and SOPs, the next biggest task was to ensure that they are complied with. So we nominated field marshals from different areas, which would do walk around audits and guide people to basically comply to those SOPs. And HR then chipped in to bring about some flexible policies. For the people who were able to work from home, we gave them all the necessary IT resources and equipment to enable them to productively work from home. And then there were a class of employees who were not able to do work from home, like our gardeners, our laundry employees, and many other employees who could not work from home. So we sent them on paid leaves. And then comes the blue collar workers. So once we gave them the confidence that and we reduced the load on the site by 25 to 50% by allowing people to work from home. So they had the confidence that the company has taken all the right steps to ensure that they are safe while they are at work, by making them making sanitizers, by making masks and social distancing protocols being followed. We were able to provide them the confidence. We had some challenges, among many others was logistics challenges. The employees who went outstation prior to lockdown, we had to extend all out support to them to bring them back, and also to provide them corporate guest houses because the hostels and apartments were being closed due to lockdown. And further, some of our truckers and our employee vans, which transport our employees from Lahore to Kasur plant, they face some stoppages at checkposts. So we devised a small task force team, and they were effectively being able to counter this bottleneck. And Alhamdulillah, we were successfully running and making all the deliveries throughout this period. With all these steps and measures, we were able to sustain our business. We were able to meet all our business targets, and most importantly, we were able to control the virus infection for all our companies, and without having to do any layoffs or any salary cuts. So we believe that we will, if we continue to lead the teams with compassion and empathy, we will be able to, inshallah, survive this crisis going forward.
If we can move on to the next slide, please. The other area I wanted, Vikas, your inputs on is primarily the post-pandemic way of organizational behavior or conducting of our business post-pandemic. So how do you see that changing for the company going forward?
Well, Noman, as we know that the hardest of times brings about the best among the people, and so it holds true for the organizations as well. As companies all across the world learn the new way of doing business, so are we adapting to this. One good learning that we had from the crisis was that when we were able to push or delegate the decision making down the line to the frontline leaders, that really helped us to make faster decisions based on the situation on ground, and also to act swiftly. So I believe that going forward, the organizations are really going to restructure themselves in a way that they are able to make faster decisions, because such organizations which are more flatter, leaner, and agile are going to rebound more quickly than perhaps the other organizations. And then comes the talent. The companies who would be able to retain and grow their talent through these times would really have the competitive advantage over others. Because you see, the easiest thing right now is to slash people. But we believe that with the people, we would be able to rebuild in a better way, more swiftly and more adequately. And we believe that our people are going to be the most precious assets post-pandemic as well. One other thing which Tahir Saab has very rightly pointed out to is that our IT team was really prepared, and they really helped us to take us to a journey where we were not used to work from home. So the speed through which we embraced the technology was really phenomenal. And I believe that going forward as well, the technology is going to reshape the way we conduct business, the way we do our daily tasks, and the companies who would be able to gain the most out of the technology are going to be ahead of the curve. Then this crisis really challenged the way we used to be physically present for certain meetings, certain tasks. And now, throughout the pandemic, we were able to successfully conduct board meetings. We were able to conduct our annual general meetings and the corporate briefing sessions, trainings, and many other meetings virtually, which not only saved time, but also saved traveling costs. So it has really challenged the need to be physically present. And I think through this, we will also be able to access global talent, because now there is no need to really physically relocate to work in a country. And through this, we will be able to tap high potential as well in the future. Then comes the work from home thing. Well, without any doubt, it is going to be the new normal, with more and more employees expecting and demanding work from home. If you can move on to the other slide, please. There was a survey conducted by Ernst & Young across 250 odd companies and in 16 different industries of Pakistan. And there are some very interesting insights from this survey. Prior to pandemic, not more than 57% of employees work from home in some way or the other. But now it is expected that around 92% would in some way work from home. So how positively it has affected the employees is that the saving of time and cost to commute to office, and then they were able to better manage their work-life balance, their family responsibilities, and because of the freedom and empowerment they could get by working from home, they could figure out the best way to execute and to complete their different tasks. And if we come to the challenges, then the main challenge was the enablement of the technology, the internet connectivity, IT-related issues, and anxieties that the employees had due to the COVID-19. So I believe that how we connect, enable, and lead remote teams is really going to set the trajectory for our next success. Over to you, Numan.
Great, thank you so much. And I think one of the things that I can see is resonating from here is that the need to be physically present to do a certain task is being challenged. And one of the things that I wanted to sort of reach out to you and ask you is, since packages belongs to the essential services, a sizable chunk, you mentioned 50% or more, belong to the blue collar category. Okay, how did packages really create the difference for those valuable employees and let the work continue without any break?
That's a very important question, Numan. Thank you for asking this. As I earlier said, that for the blue collar workers, because we could not have work from home policy for them because of their machine intensive tasks. So for the non-core operations team, we already had moved them to work from home. So that helped us to reduce the load or strength on the site, and that helped us to basically do the social distancing, which was required for the safety of our workers. And because fortunately most of our workers live in the vicinity. So they also did not have any problems even during lockdown days to commute to work. They used to come in on a daily basis, and once we gave them the confidence that and the awareness that we have set in all the necessary protocols to counter the crisis and to control the spread of virus, so their productivity increased, and we were alhamdulillah able to run our operations smoothly even during the crisis.
Thank you so much, Waqas. This is really reassuring because this kind of sheds the light on the organization as a group, really caring for its employees, whether it is a white collar employee or a blue collared employee, and for the company and for the organization, the well-being of both of them is kept at the same level. Moving on from here, I just want to reach out to Mr. Adnan, who heads our IGI Holdings HR function. And Adnan, I think since we reach out to you on a daily basis, on a regular basis, I just wanted to reach out to you and ask you for this session that as employees, we've gone through the instance of actually working from home. Some of us have, unfortunately, been impacted by the virus as well. So got physically, challenged on that side. Similarly, we also got to see a lot of psychological impact on the employees and the staff. And I just wanted to reach out to you and ask you, what did you come across when it came to the psychological and physical effects of working from home, and how did you maintain this focus of people on their work while remaining committed to delivering their tasks, being safe and also happy? So over to you, Adnan.
Thank you, Numan. I feel that mental health has been neglected in Pakistan generally. And in fact, even before this pandemic, due to challenging economic condition of Pakistan and the limited job opportunities and the high inflation, mostly people were already depressed. And this pandemic has only added their suffering, both mentally and physical as well. However, I also think that during this ongoing lockdown, smart lockdown and COVID situation, we need to more focus on our health for both mental and physical as well. And being a responsible employer, we have taken various initiatives to keep our employee focused, committed, and calm. Numan, as you know that in the start of this pandemic and lockdown, people got frustrated and were in panic mode. In order to keep our employees' mental health in check, we introduced with our employee a telehealth service link. And through this link, they can easily talk to physiologists over the phone and discuss any issues pertaining to regarding mental and psychological problem. Similarly, you know that due to lockdown, mostly hospitals and mostly OPDs has discontinued their operation. So to cater this problem, we arrange a 24/7 helpline online consultation service for employees, so the employees can take advice from qualified doctor through online platform without visiting hospitals and clinic, and avoid the exposure of coronavirus as well. And being a health and life insurance company, we have a many qualified doctors within our company. They are working in our managed care department. We give them additional responsibility to provide online consultation to employees as well, and also help them regarding any queries related to health, COVID, and also hospital admission process. Further, at company level, during lockdown or after, within this period, we start something work from home policy, flexi hours, especially for infected employees. Our best thing is during this all the period, there is no delay in salary disbursement, no pay cut, no layoffs. All employees benefit continue as usual to keep the employees very motivated and commitment. HR department has always advised staff for their well-being instead of getting first staying at home. You should spend more time, quality time with your family. You should more time for self-development through online learning skills. We have a very something. We also in this phase, when we are working in home, we need to more focus on our health as well through controlled diet and regular exercise. And being a Muslim, I thought we should follow for regular prayer in this time. This will us the mental peace as well. And of course, give a dedicated time to office work as well. If being an employer, कंपनी इतनी चीज कर रही है तो यू आपका भी बनता है कि आप प्रॉपर कमिटमेंट के साथ डेडिकेशन के साथ कंपनी के साथ भी काम करें क्योंकि कंट्रोल एंड और साथ साथ आपकी डेडिकेशन जरूरी है इसके लिए एज यू हैव सीन इन माय बैक we have values and care is one of the prime values of our package group and our sponsor management have always prioritized with the well-being of our employees and also encouraged to keep them motivated in these testing times. Every company have a medical scheme for their employees and family, but due to COVID at group level, we made a COVID-19 fund for those employees, especially who are working on lower skill grade. Thank you, Noman.
Thank you so much, Adnan. Moving on to one of the other areas I wanted to discuss with you. It's to do with the communication and the approach that you took for the team that works with you, and you are, you're managing their well-being. So how did you, set up a certain communication plan for the company's employees? And give us some examples as well so that the audience can relate to that, for the future. And how did you sort of remain relevant to every one of us during this challenging time?
Thank you. As Tahir mentioned in his speech, communication is very, very essential for any company. Good communication is vital during these times. Through effective, timely, and clear communication, organization will rapidly build trust with their employees. Well, yes, we rapidly shifted mostly our communication medium online as possible government imposed lockdown. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we have a very good IT infrastructure, and it would only couple of days we will implement fully work from home policy. Human Resource Department is always available for the guidance of employees, and their queries were being answered timely. As far as I remember that the first case of COVID was reported in Pakistan in the end of February 2020. And after this, HR department has increased its communication to all employees regarding new safety protocols to follow work at work. Further, we also advise all employees to bring laptop on daily basis. And your laptop should be fully loaded with all necessary application and software. And with the help of our IT department, all employees' laptop are fully installed with all necessary application and software. And similarly, when the government imposed a lockdown, we were fully able to perform work from home without any disruption and without any delay. After the staff announcement, bulletins, memo, eye-catching visits become more frequent, how to keep ourselves, our families, and our colleagues safe from this virus. One more thing, we also created department accessible group, WhatsApp group, so everyone should be connected and the business continuity is going also well. Further, one example, after Eid, we faced a major issue when some employees were tested positive in Lahore. And that time, through effective communication within the department head, HR, and managed department, we overcome this problem, and alhamdulillah, all of our new employees are recovered and back in the office. Also, during this, as I mentioned that in this process, our few employees were also infected. HR department head and CEO called them on directly about their health to keep their morale high in this testing time. Further, we also shifted our management meeting, conferences, and even during COVID, we have done our board and committee meeting on Zoom as well. Also, in the start of this month, we conducted our half-year sales conference online, in which more than 100 employees were participated from 10 cities. And in this conference, we discussed about the 6-month progress, and our CEO encouraged and appreciated our employees and also advised way forward strategy for coming month 2020. Our social media accounts are always aggressive, and during this pandemic, they frequently posted messages related to business, staff, and awareness of prevention of COVID-19. Similarly, during this lockdown period, we started this webinar series to discuss various areas which were impacted by COVID-19 to keep everyone updated. And I feel that we are one of the only insurance company who taking such type of initiatives. If we summarize our communication approach, it is a combination of verbal, visual, and written. And the last thing, if I summarize about effective communication, I believe communication from top down is the best for any company. And we are very lucky. We are a very good group. We are very good sponsors, and we have a good management. They always encourage employees to keep them motivated. For this reason, our work-life balance, in this pandemic, and our business going well. Thank you.
Excellent. I think this is very heartening to know all of this from you, managing so many employees under the IGI Holdings banner. One of the things I wanted to check with you and get your inputs on is we're talking all about virtual spaces and physical presences being challenged. What about employees being hired? Have you gone through any scenario where you have actually hired employees in a virtual session, and maybe they joined later on, but they started work virtually?
Yes, Numan, I told you we our all operation going very well on online, and during this period, our all process, all hiring, recruitment, all goes doing as usual, and we hired a couple of individuals during this period until hired now as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We'll move on from here, Adnan. We reach out to Hisham. Hisham, heads the agri and affinity business, and is also the regional head for the central region. And we wanted to reach out to him to really get a glimpse of what life is on the front line. I'll request Hisham to sort of walk us through how he has managed his operations during the work from home period, and despite the crisis, how he has physically been present himself along with his team, keeping the safety in mind, and how has he managed the productivity levels, which alhamdulillah have been fantastic considering the scenario we are living in. Over to you, Hisham.
Thank you, Noman. Congratulations on conducting another great webinar. In fact, in the mid of March, we as a team decided to have Group A and B working from one team working from home and the other working from office. And it was just a week after that decision that basically the lockdown started. So it was fortunate that we were prepared, and as you know that the key functions of underwriting, claims, finance, and obviously sales, which makes the major part, comprise of the overall insurance function. So I would say claims was the most well-prepared division, because in the industry, we were the first to operate through a workflow system. So everything was already digital. So starting from a claim intimation to the surveyor appointment to reaching out for a survey and settling the claim was all done already digitally. So I think there were no major issues in the claims. The biggest issue came in underwriting, where the customers were used to having those hard copies with them. So we quickly moved to the digital copies. It was good that the bank started accepting it. IT was very quick to put in a verification link there within, I would say, in just a matter of 72 hours, it was done. So everything was quite smooth. Again, the challenge came in sales. Sales was used to operate from office. though they had coordinators who were working for them, but usually people had a routine where they used to come to the office and used to manage their own things, go out to the customers. So for at least a month, everything was closed. So the remote sale was something new for our team. Some of them were not used to technology. So I would like to applaud our IT team here, which quickly managed to put everyone on the IT radar, and then they managed to get them through the VPNs and some who were not even connected on the emails to the emails. So what happened was that the operation was very smooth. Within a week's time, everything was smooth. Then came the difficult part, which was doing sales remotely. So the major renewal season was just coming. So from the start of May till about mid of June, while we were still up and down, there were about 20 people in the office which were affected. So we had to re-strategize again and had to come back to 1/4 of the total capacity that we usually operate with. So things were managed really nicely by the sales team as well. We were able to win some big businesses, and all of them were done online. In fact, one of the biggest business which was won by the central region on the life side was all done remotely. And then there were a few big health businesses that we closed all remotely through the Zoom calls and everything else. So again, the operation remained very smooth during these times. And usually I call my office a complaint cell. But fortunately, my complaint cell also went quiet. And it was not because the business was not operating. It was because of the smooth running of the business. People were focused. Every day at 9 a.m. On WhatsApp, everyone in the underwriting and claim used to mark their attendance. And then they used to start their operations as they were doing at their office. So overall, if I say we, alhamdulillah, we've remained very smooth throughout this entire period.
Great. One of the things that you brushed over right now was the sales and how the sales are normally in insurance. Obviously, it has been a norm to really reach out and conduct business on a face-to-face basis. So what are the challenges that you came across with this, and what's the advice that you would give our audience here today, in terms of coping with such scenarios, and especially the sales guys who, alhamdulillah, have actually delivered far beyond what we thought the organization will go through.
Okay, Numan. In fact, insurance, as you know, is a very, very personalized sales, and especially I would say in the part of country that I operate, the central region, it is all relationship based. So even in the smaller cities, we joke around that if our manager does not go to say to greet the Seth Saab on a weekly basis, so next renewal would be a difficult thing. So, but during this case, people manage the expectations of the customers very nicely. So the first thing that what we have asked is that what our people did, and they were doing already, was that they were already connected to the customers. Now what they started doing and was that they started connecting them on emails, on WhatsApp, on the phone calls, and literally this was the first time in life that I experienced that how a call center life would be, because from 9 a.m. to 5:30 in the evening, my phone would keep ringing, and thankfully that my family now accepts that I have something to do at office. So you know that this is how the life was. So this is not the life only because I was managing a team of about 50 to 60 salespeople, and so was our regional sales manager. But apart from that, there were calls with from customers that we were managing, and there were Zoom calls that we were managing. So the people on the ground were also doing the same thing. For 1 month, there was a complete lockdown, so they were only managing things on the WhatsApp and through emails. And as the lockdown opened, they tried to reach out to the customers. Some of them allowed them. In smaller cities, it was easier to meet people, but in cities like Lahore and Karachi, people still would not allow you to come to the office. So my advice to the sales team during this period was just to stay connected. I remained connected with my team during this entire period, and I used to randomly call even the salesman which bring say close to £1 million premium. I was in touch with them. I was constantly motivating them, and that was also the message to the people who were down the line, that they should also maintain a close liaison with their customers. What we also did was that the renewal was a very, very important area because we knew that the new business was not coming. The car showrooms were closed. The marine business was really going down. So what we did was that we focused on renewals immediately as the lockdown started. So the renewal notices usually sent by us are usually on through mail, but we quickly moved to the emails. We quickly moved to the WhatsApp renewal notices, and thus our renewal retention also did not drop as much as we were expecting. Though the new units were not coming, but we were actually very much on our renewal retention. So the advice to my sales team and all the sales people around is that please remain proactive. This is probably the thing that we have seen once in our lifetimes, and let's hope that we don't see it again. But we all should be prepared for all such eventualities. This is actually what we sell to our customer. Insurance is just that we tell everyone that God forbid this happens. So when this happened, we were alhamdulillah prepared. And this also tells us the importance of contingencies. We have attended many webinars during this area on business interruption, and we have seen that again, how some businesses have been badly impacted. We have seen many travel agents closing down. We have seen the airlines closing down. So this was really an unprecedented event. And what really helped us also was the fact that some of the industries did not close, like construction industry was up on its feet very quickly. So we got some business from that area. The travel travel area was really affected. So there was zero travel sales during April and May. In June, we have again picked up. So hopefully with this resilience that this team has, this organization has, and I would also like to thank all the support functions, especially finance, IT, and HR. They were really helpful in making everything possible. We were used to giving the manual checks to the people, but it was just a matter of days that IBFTs for the health insurance business started, or the workshop started. So there was no complaint from the vendor side as well, which was a very big thing. And also the claimants were paid payments through IBFTs. HR and admin was up, and in sanitizing the places and in telling everyone to remain cautious, providing the safe work facility. And IT, I cannot thank them enough because they have been the real hero and champions of entire COVID episode.
Yeah, and I think that on that particular point, we'll quickly move over to our friends in the technology space, and I think the most of the session today has been a lot of positive vibes, positive noise for the technology team, and I think it goes without saying that if it wasn't the future forward thinking of our technology team members, probably it would have been a big challenge. And in the interest of time, I'll just quickly go over to Athar, who heads our IT for IGI Holdings. And just wanted to quickly ask him, what does he think, or what do you think, Athar, is the best way to be prepared ahead of time, as a functional head from the technology side? Over to you, Athar.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Naman. Lot of praise from all of you for IT, and I would just like to add, it was not possible without teamwork. All of us contributed to this, and eventually this was a success for all of us. Regarding preparedness, of course, from IT prospect, viruses, be it a biological virus or a digital virus, it remains challenge for IT since beginning. So be it biological virus or digital, we always have to be prepared for it. And we were keeping an eye for how things were moving from China from very beginning and how it was expanding. The only difference was biological virus was expanding in phases, but in case of digital viruses, it's the widespread and it hits you in a very quicker way. So we were kind of prepared. We were managing things, how to look forward to fight back, and we were doing our drills inside in-house, and we were trying to be prepared in advance. So the business continuity was the main focus. Worst come worst situation, we planned, we tried, we drilled, and then we tried to move out of it, and we tried to keep things rolling in even worse scenarios. So that was the key, which helped us a lot. And during these drills, our IT team was also trained how to fight back and how to deliver things in such kind of difficult situations. So we kept things rolling. We challenged our disaster plans. We challenged our business continuity, and it paid back. Thank you, Nama.
Okay, thank you so much, Athar. One of the things I wanted to quickly ask you again is some of the tools, if you could share with us, that you have used for the interest of the audience to really deliver beyond the norm.
Okay. Well, digitization was our main focus, because in these kind of situations, we expected that we won't be able to deliver physical copies of documents. So the main focus was to digitize most of the required processes. And we focused on that, and we delivered those digital documents online, as mentioned by other teammates earlier. Of course, just delivery of a digital document was not something which was needed. Its verification and authenticity was also a challenge. So some solutions were prepared for clients and banks to verify their documents online. Other than that, working from home, of course, that's what it is all about. only working from home was not that much difficult. The challenge was to keep information secure and safe, because that's what is a company's asset, and we need to protect it from unauthorized access. Other than that, the second challenge we had was internet access for all employees. Again, because of this pandemic situation, ISPs were overloaded, and they had to issue multiple accounts in short time. So that remained a challenge for us, and then compatibility of those ISP connections with our VPN services was again a challenge. So BGP, again, BGP is a service which we use for multi-homing. It ensures stable connectivity in case one goes down seamlessly, the other link takes over. So that was the main focus we worked on. We introduced a private cloud. Again, this was not which was introduced just for pandemic. We actually were foreseeing such kind of technology requirements for future. We adapted private clouds, which gave us liberty to work from home and work from anywhere in the world using these kind of technologies. Other than that, it has been focus of group to always be a leader in technology. For that reason, we have Vitality product with us, which is active life insurance, and we have IGI Drive, which is key telematics solution with state-of-the-art vehicle monitoring systems.
Wonderful. And I think, and you rightly said, the list goes on, and there is no end to the list for the tasks that we have all as a team undertaken. I know we have actually overshot with the time. I've got questions, and I don't want to go into many of them because there are quite a few questions that have come in. I'll reach out to Mr. Tahir first. There's certain queries around generally tips for employees, and as a leader, what are your tips and suggestions generally for employees through tough times like this?
Well, that's a tough question, Aman, but I believe it's it's sticking to the normal as much as possible. I think that's very important. So people, when working from home, they the boundaries blur. We don't know when we start, and we don't know where when we end. I've talked to people who say that they've been working till very late at night and ignored their family. On the other hand, we have also found we found or caught some employees who weren't really online at the right time, and they were not really working in the morning. So, and again, once we talked to them, we found out that they've been working very, very late. But again, I think the key to all of this is to keep a routine that is pretty much near what the normal was like. So while it's the new normal, I believe we need to get up at the same time, continue with our activities that we used to do, and then start our office as we would start on a normal day. And then try and finish it on time. Spend some time exercising. It's very, very important to spend some time with just your own self. People have all sorts of hobbies. Some, obviously are difficult to sort of carry on in this environment, but there are others which people can still indulge in. I, for one, like walking, and I think I've walked quite a bit in these last few months. Also, you need to keep a very tight control on what you eat, because you can consume a lot of coffee, a lot of tea while sitting and looking at emails. So you have to be careful about your diet as well. So diet, nutrition, sticking to your routine as you would normally. I believe these are the three key things that can obviously the context of all this, that this too shall pass and will return to what we used to think was normal, is also very, very, very important to keep a positive, spin on things. To have a positive, mind frame is absolutely essential. And again, meditation also helps. Muslim or non-Muslim, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we meditate a bit every day. That's very, very important to keep our mind at, working to its best.
Absolutely, and I think the key word in there is positivity. And with that, I just wanted to connect with Vikas, and I just wanted to check. One of the questions that I have is how we how better equipped are we now, post pandemic, in this crisis scenario. So, from a crisis management perspective, do you believe that we are slightly better equipped or very well equipped now after going through this?
So before answering this question, I would like to chip in one advice from my side as well for employees or people during these testing times. I think they should subscribe to IGI Vitality product for active and healthy lifestyle, and it is going to help them keep their stress levels on a check. So coming on to the question, how well equipped are we now to fight or combat any such crisis in the future? I think a lot of learnings we have had from the crisis. A few of them were that leading teams through empathy really made the difference. Once you feel comfortable that you are being taken care of by your line managers and the organization is there to support you, it really makes the difference. So this was one learning that we really had, was that with the effective teamwork, we were able to keep our productivity levels at par. The other thing that we have learned is how to cope up with uncertain times. So it has given us a bit of the exercise, how to basically encounter such situations in future. We are now better equipped with all the necessary IT tools, with the business continuity plans. So it's kind of a you can say a drill which we have gone through, and because we have been able to successfully continue our business. So these are the learnings that we will keep on, inshallah, in check in future as well. So as to speak.
Thank you so much, Vikas. And I can see that the clock is ticking, so I only have time for one more question, and I'll reach out to Hisham for this. And since he is the leader on the front line, this is all to do with productivity levels. Did you see any change in the productivity levels of your team, be it sales, be it service, or be it support functions? And was it something that was positive, productivity, or was it something that was just as normal as it used to be in the past?
Thank you, Numan. I think on the productivity side, what we have seen is that probably the meetings have started going on time, and they do not they are not expanded to unnecessary things. So usually on the Zoom calls, we have seen that in 40 minutes we have done a good job. And also what we have seen is that the tasks were very specifically given to the underwriters and claims, and they were also monitored well through technology. So the supervisor had a better eye on his.
Yes, you can go on, Hisham.
Sorry. So the supervisor had a better eye on his co-workers, and there was no loss of productivity as such, if I would say. And the positive thing was that usually the time that people probably use in office. For some, layer was spent more on more on work. So most of the time people were available. They were even available after the office hours, and the productivity really went up. We were able to write more business during this period, and overall, I think the productivity remained very well.
That's wonderful, and I think it's such a wonderful way to sort of close this webinar, which basically started with the challenges and ended up with the productivity levels being higher than what we used to have pre COVID-19. A lot to do with the team effort, a lot to do with how lots of moving parts of the organization have effectively worked together to deliver the level of service that we are all proud to be part of under the umbrella of IGI Holdings. So before we close our session today, I would like to thank the unsung heroes who are not visible on the screen today. My team members, Usman, Matiha, Jahangir, Adia, and all the team, who has helped set up these webinars. This was the last webinar in the first series that we conducted, which started way back in May. And Alhamdulillah, in these 6 webinars, we have gone through a journey of building that communication that Mr. Tahir mentioned at the outset. We intend to carry on building this communication with you as our valuable customers, partners, stakeholders, and inshallah we'll be back with the next series of webinars after this one. And just don't forget that the recordings of this session are available within 24 hours of this session closing out. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for your time, the panelists especially, and the audience for sticking with us for a slightly lengthier session than normal. Thank you so much and have a good day.